Hello and welcome to my Lethality Operative tutorial video. I'll be going over my spec, my gear, and playstyle to kind of give people who are interested in playing this spec an idea of what you need to do to get better at the class. So we'll start with spec. Starting the lethality tree, I do not take deadly directive because you do not use alacrity in this spec. I put 3 points in lethality because higher tech and range critical chance is going to increase your throughput, as well as work with the later talent for higher energy regen. Put 2 points in razor edge because Shiv is your tactical advantage generator outside of killing people, so you pretty much use it on cooldown, so it doing more damage is beneficial. Put 1 in lethal injectors because increasing the duration of corrosive dart by 3 seconds is pretty important. It's going to cause it to do more damage since you're going to be tossing it around on several different targets at the same time. Corrosive microbes, put 2 points in there. Point for point, one of the better talents for buffing your corrosive dart damage. Has a 25% chance to cause an extra tick of the corrosive dart. Now this extra tick can be a non-crit, it can be a crit, it doesn't matter, based off what the original tick was. So you can get a non-crit and a crit, double non-crit, double crit, or a crit and a non-crit. It's just random. I do not take flash powder because I find myself not using flashbang too often because I have dots ticking on everyone for the most part, and it'll cause flashbang to end very quickly. So I find it to be a waste of 2 talent points. Slip away, definitely put 2 points in there. Not only does this reduce the cooldown of your hard stun by 15 seconds, it also increases your movement speed by 30% for 4 seconds after activating, which is good for getting away or just moving faster while you're attacking the target. Obviously put 1 point in corrosive grenade. This is your AoE dot, and it's going to cause you to do more damage with coal later on when you pick up that talent. And there's another synergy talent that goes with it to reduce the movement speed of people affected by it, and it's going to do more damage. Combat stem, I'm going to put 2 points in there because whenever you activate stem boosts, you're going to get an additional 10 energy, so it's good to kind of give you a little boost. Lowers the cooldown by 15 seconds as well. Cut down increases the damage done by overload shot, carbine burst, and coal by 3% per point. I mainly take this for the coal for 6% damage. Carbine burst is our AoE conal attack. It has its uses, very situational though. Overload shot, some people swear by it. I do not like it for the energy to damage efficiency ratio. It's pretty bad in my book. I'm going to put 3 points in lethal dose, increases the critical hit of periodic effects by 12%. I wish this was actually lower in the tree by a tier or two because it says periodic effects and it actually does affect your HOTS if you're spec'd into healing. But since it's so high up, you got to sacrifice so much in the healing tree to get it. But as it stands here, this works well with a talent in this tier as well for your energy regen, and I'll be getting that here in a second. Also increases your throughput. Escape plan reduces the cooldown of escape by 1.5 seconds. That's your break out of CC ability. And shield probe by 7.5 seconds. That's one of your defensive cooldowns. Kind of weak, but puts it on a shorter cooldown. And infiltrate is kind of a fun ability to use. There's really no tactical advantage to it for the most part. No one really uses it. I normally skip this one. I've seen some people spec into it, but I don't. Adhesive corrosive. Corrosive grenade has a 100% chance to reduce the movement speed of the targets by 30% for 6 seconds. I like this because when you're chasing after someone, you're already going to be tossing this on them for the damage it does, as well as buffing your coal damage, and that's going to be beneficial, as well as just team play. If people chasing ball carrier, trying to run to the next area in Void Star, a bunch of applications, tossing this on them is going to slow them down. Lethal Purpose, one of the more important talents in the tree. Reduce the cooldown of Adrenaline Probe, which is your cooldown that gives you instant energy so that you can continue your offensive burst or whatever. In addition, critical hits with poison effects restore 2 energy. So this is the synergy of the tree. the idea of tab dotting that people have come to know. You want to put dots on several different targets, and the reason being is while you're bursting a single target, you have all those dots ticking, and they're going to be giving you energy while you're on somebody, so you don't have to worry about energy efficiency as much. Coal is the single target bread and butter of the spec. Definitely taking that. The idea of this one is you have a regular white attack, so affected by armor, all those your accuracy is lower with it. It's more likely to miss than your yellow attacks. But then it also has a component where if you have one or two of your dots on the target, it buffs the damage of it. It does an additional, in this case, 726 internal damage, and that is static. It does not change unless the target has less expertise or does not have the sorcerer buff. But you pretty much when you use coal, you always want to have both of your dots ticking on the target. License to Kill just reduces the energy cost of coal by 6. Since you'll be using coal a lot, that's good. It keeps your energy up higher. Counter Strike, it turns a PvE ability, which reduces threat, into a 100% chance to remove all movement and parrying effects when activated. I believe it's a 45-second cooldown. If I had points to spare, I'd probably put something in here, but as it stands, there's other talents I'd rather have than this one. Lingering Toxins, I put 2 points in here. Reduce the damage taken by periodic effects by 15%. So this is going to help you against a bunch of different classes. Power techs, other dot specs for sorcerers, assassins, operatives, gunslingers. A lot of classes have a dot. Annihilation Marauders. So having this talent is going to reduce the damage you take from those. In addition, whenever your Corrosive Dart and Corrosive Grenade end, have a 100% chance to put a weaker buff on that target, or debuff so to speak. That's going to do 15% of the original damage over 9 seconds. Now, this is more damage, so that's one of the pros to it. And the other one is whenever you use coal, the extra damage, internal damage that it does is based on how many dots you have on the target. So this is going to keep 2 dots on the target for longer so that if you need to cull them at a later time, you do not have to reapply your dots. Because if they're at, let's say, 30%, you don't want to waste global cooldowns dotting them up just so that you can cull them to get that extra burst in. You just want to burst them down. You don't even care about the dot ticks, how much damage they're doing. So that's why I take the talent. Devouring Microbes increases the damage dealt by poison effects by 15% on targets below 30% of max health. So this is the kill zone, I like to say. Whenever someone gets below 30%, that's when you get like execution style abilities. So your dots are going to be ticking harder on the target. In addition, and not a lot of people realize this actually affects your coal damage. So coal, the internal damage portion of it, the yellow damage, does 15% more damage on targets below 30%. So it's going to help you whenever you're trying to execute someone with coal, do more damage, and be more likely to kill them. Weakening Blast, very good talent. So it's a free attack, doesn't cost energy, which is good. Has a cooldown to keep it in line as far as power goes. If it had no cooldown, it would be way too strong. It deals a decent amount of damage, usually in the 1,000-something range. Targets take an additional 30% damage from the agent's next 10 poison effects. Now, mind you, this is just yours, not somebody else's, which would cause it to be too strong as well. 30% it applies not only to your dots, but also to your coal damage. The 2 internal damage portions are affected by Weakening Blast. That's why you want to have Weakening Blast on your burst target, because your coal is going to do more damage. Now, granted, coal has 2 yellow damage attacks tied to it if you have both your poison effects on them, and those each take a charge off a Weakening Blast. So you're going to melt through those 10 charges pretty quick, because you can imagine every 3 seconds you're going to get at least 2 ticks from each, one from each of your poison ticks. If your Corrosive Dart does its double tick, that's an extra charge. Coal does 2. So in a global cooldown, you could essentially get rid of 5 out of those 10 charges. So it'll probably be gone before the cooldown's up, but that's what you want to do whenever you burst someone down. This is a pretty important town, Imperial Brew. Increases the damage dealt by corrosive dart and acid blade. Now, granted, you don't have acid blade in this spec, but you take it for the corrosive dart damage since you're going to be spreading the corrosive dart down, and it is your harder hitting dot. You want to buff the damage on it. Concealed attacks. I'll be getting back to this one. This is what I'll be taking for my optional 2 points. Imperial Education. Increased total cunning by 3% per point. This is one of those talents that every spec has to get as an operative. I think most classes have a similar talent for increasing their primary stat. I think this is absolutely necessary. It's going to increase your bonus damage, bonus healing, the crit that you do with everything. So it's very important to have this. Next, I take 2 points in Precision Instruments. Reduces the energy cost of Corrosive Dart, Debilitate, and Sever Tendon by 4. Obviously, you take this talent because of Corrosive Dart, and it's just a benefit that Debilitate and Sever Tendon are also on this. You're going to be using Corrosive Dart a hell of a lot more than the other two abilities because you're going to be tossing your dot out on several different targets, and this is going to cause you to be more energy efficient. So, in addition to that, when you're stunning somebody, you're trying to slow them down with your single target slow, Sever Tendon, you're going to be using less energy, therefore allowing you to use that energy for offensive bursts or healing or whatever it may be that you're going to be using it on. Because if you're at 0 energy, you're not doing any damage outside of your basic attack. The 2 points that are optional for me are these last 2 points. I've sometimes put it in Incisive Action, which reduces the activation time of Colto Injection, which is your big heal, down to 2 seconds, and it gives you a 100% chance to gain a tactical advantage. That's good. I've also put it into Chem Resistant Inlays, which reduces all damage taken by 4%. That's really good if you're in a heavy team play atmosphere and you're taking a lot of damage. Makes it easier on your healers. But if you're looking for throughput, like I am, I generally put it in 2 points into Concealed Attacks. Now, you're not going to be coming out of stealth a whole lot. That's the opposite of concealment. Concealment, you're going to be doing a lot of damage from stealth. So being in stealth is going to be very beneficial, kind of a lone wolf, whereas lethality is you're going to be outside of stealth continuously in battle, but when you do actually get back into stealth and you open up on somebody, you want that extra crit chance for your hidden strike, so you do more damage. But the main reason I take this one is for the increased critical hit chance of backstab. I pretty much use backstab on cooldown. It's one of our hardest hitting abilities for the class, and it's on a relatively short cooldown. Now for gearing your character, I choose the same gear I use on my healers I use for when I DPS and lethality. Every piece is going to have the cunning augments in them. Every enhancement is going to be the low endurance, high power, high surge. And each mod is going to be the low endurance and either high power or high crit based on what your crit chance is. If you need more crit, get some crit. If you have enough crit, then stack power. The armorings are going to be based solely on what set bonuses you want. In this case, I have 3 extra seconds on Orbital Strike, and I'm still trying to get the 2-piece PvE set bonus for Concealment, which is the 15% extra crit chance for Backstab. For implants, I use the low endurance, high power, high surge, and for relics, I use the power relics for higher throughput. The earpiece is my last Elite War Hero piece to upgrade, just due to the fact that you only get 1 extra stat and you trade off a bunch of crit for a bunch of power. So you have to juggle your stats to try and get the perfect fit, so to speak. For the crystals and your weapons, I have 41 power crystals. Now, if you're still trying to juggle your crit, you can switch one of these out or both of them out for crit so that you don't have to get a whole nother mod, because you can just buy crit crystals off the GTN. Now that we're done talking about spec and gear, let's talk about how to play the lethality spec. So it's a class that's based off of melee and ranged abilities. A lot of the ranged abilities are used to set up for when you go into melee range to do some of your burst. Like I said before, your tactical advantage generator outside of killing people is going to be your shiv, so you need to be in close for that. So usually what I'll start off with at range is a corrosive dart, followed by a corrosive grenade. Now you want to position that so you can get as many people as possible. And you'll run in, maybe get a shiv off so that you get a tactical advantage, which increases your damage by 2% and allows you to use coal. Get behind them, use a backstab or something like that. Maybe another shiv. And you'll notice when I use coal here, notice the damage on that, the internal damage portion of it. Now when I'm going to reapply my dots here, I'm going to put weakening blast on the target, and then I'm going to coal again. You'll know it's significantly higher, so when you do your burst on somebody, you want to have that weakening blast going. Shivving on cooldown, backstab on cooldown, maybe get down into cover, and put an explosive probe on them, shiv, followed by like another coal or something like that. I hope this video helped you out in some way, or maybe attracted you to play the operative class or the lethality spec in general. And thank you for watching the video.